Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to Virtual University. The title of today's lesson is Word Choice. And this lesson is going to be in two parts. In the first part, you shall learn about the use and choice of words and expressions. And in the second part, you shall look at a number of words that are often mistaken for one another, because they are homonyms. That is, they are words that are pronounced the same or almost the same, but are spelled differently and are different in meaning. To be a good writer, you must learn to use words and expressions that are suitable to the subject, to the occasion, and also for the audience you are writing for. Now, even the most casual of English students of English, they soon become aware of the fact that there are several different speech levels. Some words are unmistakably bookish or literary. Some are informal or colloquial. And you will notice that every trade and profession also has its own technical jargon. Then there are words that are used only for humorous effect, and there are words that are never used in polite situations. So you realize that there is a great variety of situations and an equally great variety of words to go with them. Now, not all writing problems involve grammar. A sentence may be grammatically correct, yet fail to communicate effectively because the words that the writer has chosen are not appropriate. The student of writing must take an interest in words. Slang, cliches, and wordiness are three enemies of clear communication. Now, slang expressions no doubt are very lively and they add color to our everyday speech, but it is generally out of place in formal writing. Most slang terms are often vague substitutes for more exact words. Careful writers avoid weakening their writing with slang. Slang is a living language, no doubt, because new slang expressions and words keep coming in and keep going out as well. And as new words and expressions are coined almost daily, and most of these die out equally quickly. Students, especially young children, are very fond of using slang. They coin these words. But let me repeat that they are not appropriate in formal writing. Listen to this sentence. I actually heard a student of mine say this. When my mother saw me zonked out on the sofa, she lost it. Very funny. When my mother saw me zonked out on the sofa, she lost it. Now, of course, you understand what is the meaning. The student meant that when his mother saw him stretched out on the sofa, she lost her temper, or she became angry. And this sentence can be revised and written in proper English. It could be, when my mother saw me sleeping on the sofa, she became angry. Fine? Slang by its nature is informal, and it is commonly used in talk amongst friends, colleagues, but it is not suitable for good writing or even for formal occasions. For instance, if you are in an interview, you go for an interview, it would be better for you if you did not use slang words, because maybe your colleagues understand the slang that you are using, but the persons who are interviewing you, they might be old-fashioned and they might not understand the terminology, the terms that you are using. Then there is something else about slang, that it is typical, sometimes it is typical of one class of persons, such as you may have prison slang, you may have excuse me, army slang, and as I said earlier, slang may be appropriate in casual conversation, but it is not appropriate in formal writing. Now, this is not realized by foreign learners of English, that slang is used by limited social groups. Slang in the USA is quite different from the slang that is in the UK, used in the UK, in Australia, and other English-speaking countries. And foreign learners of English should be very careful. For instance, slang expressions of the 1960s, they sound out of date or are meaningless today. Use slang only when you have a specific purpose in mind, such as being humorous. Now we shall do an exercise. I shall show you some sentences and you change. First you spot the slang expression and then you change the expression by using more effective language. Take the first sentence. All the viewers trashed the new Tom Cruise film. All the viewers trashed the new Tom Cruise film. Now, I don't have to tell you which is the slang expression. You, I'm sure, have spotted it easily. You can rewrite this in effective, in a better way. And that could be, all the viewers condemned the new Tom Cruise film. Take another sentence. I was really cheesed off when Rizwan called me a liar. A very common expression, cheesed off. You can write this, you can revise this and make it, I was really angry when Rizwan called me a liar. Another sentence, working in the library has been a real drag. A real drag. Now, you can correct this. You can say that working in the library has been boring. Working in the library has been boring. Those were slang expressions. Now we shall look at cliches. That's the second type of expression that are very common in writing and even in spoken speech. Now, cliches are expressions that were lively and interesting a long time ago. With the passage of time, these expressions have been used so often and they've been used so much that they have become predictable, and thus they are dull and boring. And good writers try to avoid using cliches in their writing. You should, when you're writing, try to use fresh expressions. And I shall show you some examples of cliches. We've all come across expressions like, after all is said and done, a long felt need, avoid like the plague, bored to tears, better half, which means the wife or the husband. Bolt from the blue, expression like busy as a bee, cold as ice, cool as a cucumber, in this day and age, clear as crystal. Then you have expressions like light as a feather. Well, you can use another word, you can have another comparison, but it needn't be a feather, it could be something else. Make ends meet, pretty as a picture, red as a rose. Well, you can say red as a tomato. Well, I know the word the tomato is not so romantic as the rose, but you can compare it with something else that is red. Sick and tired, that's another cliche. Tried and true, time and again. These are all cliches. And see, wherever it's possible, try to use another expression. Now we shall look at some sentences, and I would like you to pick out the cliche that is used in these expressions. Number 1, the boys in my class were down in the dumps because they were fighting a losing battle with their discrete maths course. A long sentence, but there are cliches in it. Down in the dumps, fighting a losing battle. These are expressions that have been used in other contexts, and I would advise you to try to break away from such writing. You can rewrite this sentence in this way. The boys in my class were depressed because they were not doing well in their discrete maths course. Simple, straightforward English. You don't have to use words like down in the dumps and fighting a losing battle. What you have to say it in simple words, and it'll be very effective. Take another sentence. She speaks loud enough to wake the dead. She speaks loud enough to wake the dead. Now this sentence could be rewritten as she speaks extremely loud, and that's it. You don't have to wake the dead. Number 3, take another sentence. The children in the nursery class have been busy as bees all day, but they still seem fresh as daisies. Trite cliches that have lost their freshness, words, expressions that have lost their freshness. And this could be rewritten as the children in the nursery have been active all day, but they still seem energetic. Now the third type of expressions that should be avoided by all writers is wordiness. That means that you use too many words, unnecessary words, to say something that could be said in a few words. And some people think that it's a way of showing off their knowledge of the language. They think that by using big words, difficult words, they are creating an impression. Actually, this can be quite annoying for the reader and even for the listener. Now, I will show you a few examples, and you notice that for each of the wordy expressions, you can replace it by 1 or 2 words. It's a small list. Otherwise, there is a very long list, and if you pick up any good grammar book or a vocabulary book, you will notice pages and pages of these expressions. the expression a large number of. You have a simple word, many. You can use the word many. You don't have to say a large number. Sometimes fine, yes, but try to use simple words, a single word. At an earlier point in time. These expressions are very common in writing. You can say before. Instead of saying at an earlier point in time, say before. At this point in time. There is a single word for it, and that word is now. And the expression due to the fact that. It is so common in writing, due to the fact that. And this can be substituted by the word because. During the time that. That again is a very wordy expression, and all you have to do is substitute the word while, because that is what this expression means. Each and every day means daily. It's the same meaning, daily. Maybe you may use each and every day for the sake of emphasis, but too much use of such words can be quite boring. Few in number, that's another expression, another wordy expression, and you can use the word few, just simply few, because few, when you use the word few, you mean number, less in number, so use the word few. Green in color. Why they have to use the word color when you're already using the word green? Green is a color. So just use the word green. You don't have to say green in color. In order to. This can be substituted with the word to. There is another one that is very common, and that is in my own opinion. In my own opinion. Opinion is your thought, is your idea, what you think. So you don't have to say in my own opinion, you just say I think. And another expression, in the event that. In the event that something happens, you can substitute the word if. Again, there's another expression, in the near future. Well, maybe if you're comparing in the near future and in the distant future, but if you just say soon, because the word soon means in the coming days ahead. The expression made the decision to, it means decided. Just say decided, we decided. On account of. Again you can substitute the word because. Postponed until later. You can just use the word postponed, you don't have to say until later. Small in size. Small, just use the word small. Alright, now we shall do an exercise. And you notice and decide for yourself which of these communicates well, which sentence communicates well. Take the first one. Due to the fact that the printer ran out of the toner, they went to the local store for the purpose of buying some. Look at the other one. Because the printer ran out of the toner, they went to a local store to buy some. Which one is better? Decidedly, it's the second one. All right. Another one. At this point in time, we have not yet scheduled the date of the next meeting. At this point in time. This can be, a better version could be, we have not scheduled the next meeting. or we have not decided on the next meeting. Take another one. In my opinion, I think the quota system in jobs is totally unfair and uncalled for. The other version is, I think that job quotas are unfair. You said the same thing, but in a way that is more clear. Now, to help you develop your skill in choosing words effectively, we will do a short exercise. See if you can identify errors of cliches or wordiness in the following sentences. And if you feel like, you can rewrite the sentence. Number 1. My neighbor's conversation is too gross for me. My neighbor's conversation is too gross for me. You can rewrite it as, my neighbor's conversation is disgusting, because gross means vulgar. Take the next one. The audience was bored to tears by the lecture. There is no need to have the word bored to tears. You can just say the audience was bored by the lecture. Third sentence. Owing to the fact that buses are on strike, no one arrived on time. You can say, because of the bus strike, no one arrived on time. Listen to this one. The boys are pulling your leg when they say they can't be at your party. Don't listen to their teasing. They won't miss your party for the world. Notice the slang, right? You can say that in a better way. The boys are joking when they say they can't be at your party. Don't listen to their teasing. They really want to go to your party. They wouldn't miss your party for the world. Very common, all young people say that. There's nothing wrong with it, but a better way would be that they really want to go to your party. Take this one. You can't believe what my neighbor says. He's a gas bag. During the time I've known him, I've heard him tell many lies. A gas bag. Actually, what is meant is that my neighbor, you can't believe what my neighbor says. He's always exaggerating, right? During the time, since instead of using the word, the phrase during the time, substitute it with the word since. Since I've known him, I've heard him tell many lies, right? Take this one. She was as happy as a lark when she learned that she'd got an A on her term paper. But her happiness didn't last long due to the fact that there had been a complete mistake. There had been a mistake in the compiling of the result. Now, again, cliches, happy as a lark. You can just use the word, she was happy when she learned that she had got an A on her term paper. But her happiness didn't last long because there had been a mistake in the compiling of the result. You don't have to say it didn't last long due to the fact that. Wordiness. That sentence suffers from wordiness. Right. Now that was the first part of today's lesson, and we talked about very common mistakes that writers make, the use of slang, the use of cliches, and wordiness, using too many words to say something that can be said in a straightforward manner. Now we shall look at the second half, which consists of homonyms. These are pairs of words that are frequently confused with one another because they sound alike. Sometimes they are spelled in the same way, and people mistake one for the other, and they are commonly confused. The first one, its, its, and it apostrophe s. A very common mistake. Students are maybe they are not very clear about it. its, this is the possessive form of the word it, and it apostrophe s is a contraction of it is. Instead of writing it as two words, it and is, the word is contracted, the second I is taken out, and instead an apostrophe is inserted. Look at this example. When she saw my dress, she said, "It's an unusual one, but I like its color." Notice its. The first it is with an apostrophe s. It's an unusual one, but I like its color. Number 2. Now these are very common words. Some of you might say, oh well, we are familiar with this. But when you are writing, students often confuse the one for the other. There and there. There, there. It has two meanings. One, it means in that place. There, it is there over there. And it is used with is, are, was, were, and other forms of the verb to be. The other word is there, Their, which means belonging to them. Them. And there is a third one. Over here, there are three forms of this word. There, There, there spelt Their, and there is the third one which is they, there, They apostrophe re, which is a contraction of two words, they are. Now look at these sentences. The teacher told the students that there was no excuse for their failing in the test. They are going to sit for another test. The first there, There. The second, excuse for their, Their. And the third one is a contraction of the word they are. They are going to sit for another test. The second example. Their belongings were scattered over there on the hillside. Tomorrow there will be an inquiry in the accident. Right? Now, except for the first one, the first is Their, the other two there are There, meaning over there in that place. Now, there is another pair of words that are frequently confused, and these words are your, Y-O-U-R, your, meaning belonging to you, and the other one your, which is a contraction of the words you are. The A is removed and you have the apostrophe and RE. Listen to the example. If you're going out in this heat, take your umbrella for protection. Now, the first your is Y-O-U apostrophe R, a contraction of the word if you are. If you're going out in this heat, take your umbrella, meaning the umbrella belonging to you for protection. Another example. Do you think your family will be upset when they learn you're migrating to Canada? The first one is your, belonging to you. Do you think the family, your family belonging to you, will be upset when they learn you are? Second one is a contraction. Now, the fourth set of words that are confused are the words past, P-A-S-S-E-D, past, and the word past. Students don't know when to use which one. Now the word past, P-A-S-S-E-D, past means, past is the past tense of pass. It means handed to, when you pass something to somebody. He passed me the ball. Number 2, went by. He went past the rose bush. And number 3, it also means to be completely successful, or to complete something successfully. He passed the exams. And the word past, P-A-S-T, it means time before the present, right? Take this example. As Sajjad Ali walked past the fire, he passed his hands over it. The first one is went by, meaning went by, and the second one is he passed his hands over it. Right. Let us look at the next pair, and these are the words whose, W-H-O-S-E, meaning belonging to whom, and the other one is whose, W-H-O apostrophe S, which is a contraction of the word who is or who has, right? Example, the headmaster yelled, who's responsible for the destruction of the painting? Whose fault is it? The first whose is W-H-O apostrophe S. Who is responsible for the destruction of the painting? The second one is whose, W-H-O-S-E. The next one is whether and whether. One, always remember the one with A. There is the letter A in the first one, whether, which means conditions outside, rain, wind, temperature, etc. And the other whether is another word meaning if. Example, to illustrate, the weather won't spoil our holidays. Whether it rains or not, our days will be spent fishing and boating. The first one is whether with an with an A, and the second one is whether with an H, right? The next very commonly confused words are already, two words, A-double-L, all, and ready. These are two different words, and it means to be completely prepared. The second one is one word, already, A-L-R-E-A-D-Y, right? And that's an adverb, which means previously or before or prior to some specified time. Example, they were all ready for the work to begin. They were all ready, meaning that they were completely prepared for the work to begin. Second sentence, we were surprised to find the woman already there when we arrived, right? The next pair of words are altogether and all together. Again, altogether is one word, A-L-T-O-G-E-T-H-E-R, which means meaning wholly or thoroughly. It is one word and it's an adverb. The other one, altogether, are two words, all and together, meaning simultaneously or at once, all at once. Example, the customers were altogether satisfied. And here you would use the word altogether, which is one word, meaning thoroughly satisfied. And the other one, they were all together in the waiting room by 8 o'clock. All together. The next one is, now these are not homonyms. It's the word angry, and I have included this because sometimes people don't know how to use the word angry. You can be angry about something, you can be angry with somebody, and you can be angry at. Not homonyms, but it's the word angry being used with different prepositions, and it takes on a different meaning. We are angry about occasions, about situations, or with situations. You are angry with people. You are angry about occasions or situations, and you are angry at things, at animals. For example, you can say, we were all angry about the increased taxes. Angry about the increased taxes. You can say, she was angry with Mr. Khan for supporting her rivals. Angry with. She is angry with me these days. And he showed his dissatisfaction by becoming angry at his dog for barking. You are angry at things. Now there is another pair, and again these are not homonyms, but I have included them because sometimes students often don't know when to use which one, and these are the three words: liable, apt, and likely. Now liable and apt are sometimes used for likely. Something is apt if it is suited for or appropriate to something else. A person is apt if he has a tendency to do something or is ready to learn. And liable means answerable for, and it is often and often suggests an undesirable possibility. Likely means probably. Likely means probably. Listen to this example. That was not an apt remark. That was not an apt remark. He is liable to arrest. You won't say he is apt to arrest, and you won't say, or you can say he is likely to be arrested. He is liable to arrest. And the word likely, it will very likely rain tomorrow. And then we have the words accept and accept. Accept with a double C, A-double-C-E-P-T, accept, which means to receive willingly, to agree to something. And accept, E-X-C-E-P-T, means to leave out, or it also means but. All the workers except the part-timers voted for a 5-day week. Except meaning all the workers, excluding, leaving out the part-timers. And the second one, the management accepted the proposals of the workers. Accepted, agreed to. The next pair of words is advice and advise. The first one, advice, means suggestion or suggestions, and advise means to give advice or suggestions to somebody, right? They advise their clients in such a way that they become dependent upon them for guidance, right? And here it is advise, V-I-S-E. Most astrologists or most astrologers' advice is worthless. Astrologers' advice. The next pair is affect and effect. affect with an A means to influence. It is used as a verb, affect, to influence. The other one is with an E, effect, again used as a verb, and it means to cause something, and it is also used as a noun meaning result. The heavy downpour last night, I'll use these in an example. The heavy downpour last night did not affect the success of the trip. The rain had the effect of clearing the air of dust. Right? The first one is with an A, right, which means to influence. The heavy downpour did not influence the success of the trip. The second one is effect, meaning a result. The effect of the rain, the result of the rain was that it cleared the air of dust. Right? And we've got other examples as well. Now let us look at the next one. The next words that are confused, the group of words that are confused, are desert, desert, and desert. Three variations. Two of them are spelled exactly the same way. The third one is a double S, has a double S. The first meaning of desert is dry and sandy, right? A sandy place. And the other one is desert, to leave behind. The third is dessert, which is the final course of a meal. The boys were lost in the Thar desert, the Thar sandy place in southern Pakistan. The other one, the soldiers deserted the army, meaning they left the army. And the third one, the hostess offered rice pudding as dessert, meaning as the final meal. There is another pair of words very often confused by students, and these words are dose and does. Dose is D-O-S-E, meaning a measured amount of medicine, and the other one is does. It is spelled D-O-E-S, and it is the present tense of the verb to do. Now listen to the example. Does a double dose of medicine cure an illness quickly? Does a double dose, does D-O-E-S-E and dose D-O-S-E. The next pair is course and coarse. One is spelled C-O-A-R-S-E, which means rough, not refined, and the other is course, a unit of instruction. You can take a course in linguistics. Course is a part of a meal, the last course, and it is also used in words like it is used with of, such as of course. Example: the secretaries are required to take a course in handling telephone calls so that they do not treat even irritating customers in a coarse manner. That was a long example. Take the next one, which is shorter. Some of the boys on the computer course were very coarse in their manners. The first one is course, the computer course, a unit of instruction, and the second course is being rough, not refined. Next are the words lead and led, right? Lead, it's the words lead and lead. Lead, L-E-E-A-D, is a metal, and the other one is lead, L-E-D, which means influenced or persuade, to be influenced or persuaded. It also means to be guided, and it is also the past tense of the verb to lead. Example: the lead-based paint is dangerous for your health. led, right? L-E-A-D. The other example is, you must lead the child by the hand. Another example, I led the old woman by the hand last week. And the words plain, P-L-A-I-N and P-L-A-N-E, again very often confused by students. P-L-A-I-N means not fancy, something that is plain, nothing very fanciful about it, something that is obvious, straightforward, and it also means flat land. The other word plain, P-L-A-N-E, plain, of course there are other meanings, but we'll just confine ourselves to one meaning, and that is the short form of the word aeroplane. Aeroplane is rather a big word, and everybody uses the word plain these days, P-L-A-N-E. It was plain to see the plane had landed in the field. The first one is P-L-A-I-N and the other one is P-L-A-N-E. And another example, the heat in the plains is unbearable, and it is the word P-L-A-I-N-S, meaning flat land. And we've got three versions of the word quiet: quiet, quite, and quit. Sometimes students just don't know how to differentiate one from the other. Quiet, I-E-T, means silent, Q-U-I-E-T, silent. Quite means very, and quit means to give up, to stop doing something, right? The last one is wander and wonder. Wander with an A means to move with no definite or fixed course in mind, or to be unclear in speech. He's wandering in his speech. The other one is wonder, which means to be amused, to be amazed, and this wonder is spelt with an O, W-O-N-D-R, and it is used to introduce polite requests for inquiring, and it also is used to show when you speculate or you ask yourself, right? Now, in today's lesson, you learnt about selecting the right words and their importance in good writing. You also learnt about words that are often confused with one another just because they sound similar. So try to avoid such mistakes. Till next time, Allah Hafiz.